Devin here with the Cmoy Pocket Amplifier following the tangentsoft.net tutorial. Sorry it took so long for the part 3. As you can see, I've gone ahead and soldered in all the capacitors, resistors, the IC socket, which you should have seen before, and I have the amplifier chip in. Notch down. Important thing there. Make sure notch is down. It states that in the tutorial, but just to emphasize that. What I've already gone and done, what I said I was going to walk you through, was the S jumper that I put in. They say M or the S jumper. The M consists of a piece of metal being bent here and then gone up itself and squished to fit in here and then gone down, which I don't really like. It's too hard. I went and used the S, went in, come back around, threaded it through, and then went back, soldered it here, here, and here. You know, just for a little redundancy, which makes all these the same. Very important is your R5. You solder in a solid snipping or clipping, whatever, and test your amplifier, which I'll go into later. And if you have noise, then you actually take that out and put in the resistor, the actual R5 resistor. But generally you shouldn't need that if you did everything properly. Alright, so like I said before, I'm using the 0.47 ceramic capacitors, which I jacked from my other amp. I'm using the 1000 UF, 0.47 UF here and 1000 UF on the power supply. They're rated for 25 volts, and these are rated for 50 volts. So I could easily put 24 in and have a 12 volt split. What I'm going to talk to you first about is testing the power supply, which I should have before, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, just a little bit more. And I'm going to talk to you about the testing of the actual amplifier part. So on the power supply part, what you're going to do is you're going to power it up. You should do this before you solder in all this other resistors, just once you got these in here. What you're going to do is you're going to power it up, put your 9 volts, whatever you have. We're going to say you're using a 9 volt battery with a clip, and it's depleted to 8 volts. We're just saying that for an easy number. What you want is 4 volts here and 4 volts here. You want 4 volts positive here, 4 volts negative here. You're testing your virtual ground, so you're going to have your negative lead here. You're going to take your positive and you're going to touch it on the positive, at the very top. Let me see if I can get a little angle. Yeah, it's a lot better. You're going to take your positive and you're going to touch it on this one right here, and you should see 4 volts positive. And then you're going to take your positive and bring it back over here, and you should see 4 volts negative if you're using a multimeter that reads both positive and negative. If you're using an analog meter, you're going to actually have to switch your positive and negative probes. So if you're using a digital, keep your negative here, and take your positive here and here, and you should see the same voltage but negative. If you're using an analog, like just a meter that goes back and forth, you're going to have to take your positive here and your negative here, and you should see a positive, and here take your negative and positive, and you should see it move the same amount. If you don't, make sure that your resistors are the same resistance. Use your multimeter, check the ohms, make sure that this is the same, and make sure your solders are correct. Make sure everything's right. Alright, that's how you test that. And to test your amplifier part, once you have your socket in, notch down, have all your resistors soldered in, make sure you do not forget this piece of metal, which I did. I freaked out. So don't make that mistake. You're going to take your ground right here. You're going to hook up 2 alligator clips. It's good. Here. Right here is a pack that you can buy from Radio Shack that has 8 of these colored ones that you can put. There's 6 inches or 12 inches or something like that. Anyway, you're going to clip 2 green ones or whatever. Take your 2 grounds here. You're going to clip one of them on to your ground portion of your input, which is going to be your MP3 player. This is ground, this is right, and this is left. You're going to clip ground from here to here. Then you're going to clip, say this is hooked up to your MP3 player. you're going to clip the input, which is here, your left side, I'm sorry. The right side is your left side is your right. Sorry I didn't tell you that. You're going to clip your left input here to here, then you're going to click your right input here to here. Then you're going to take your other one, going to your headphones. Use a cheap pair, don't use your nice cans. Take your ground, go from there to there. Take your output from the left, which is going to be all the way at the bottom right here, to the very end. Then you're going to take your output from the right, which is all the way over here, to right there in the center. And once you have all that clipped up, go ahead and put your power to it. Let it warm up. Make sure you touch everything. Make sure nothing's hot. Everything should be all nice and good. And turn on your MP3 player and you should have sound. If you don't, make sure that you have this soldered in. Check all your solder points. Make sure your chip is notched down. Make sure all your resistors are soldered on. Check your solders. Make sure they don't bubble over to the next one. And should be good to go. Just a couple things since I have some time here. Let me set this camera down. This is what it looks like on the bottom. You know, decently clean. I mean, it's kind of bubbling everywhere, but you know, it's pretty clean. Nice low profile. I'm going to bend the capacitors down, you know, all the way flat later once I got everything soldered in. But talking about our next video that I'm going to have, I'm going to walk you through the process of soldering on your jacks, your input jacks, which I'll grab. Soldering on your input jacks, cutting the housing, soldering on your switches, your potentiometer, soldering on your LED holder, drilling the holes for them, positioning them and whatnot. Here's my input and output jack right here, made in China, go figure. Obviously this side right here is going to be your right, this is going to be your left. You can see where it touches right here. This is going to be your ground right here. So when you solder it on, anyway, I'll go through more in the next video. But I'm going to walk you through these soldering your potentiometer, your volume control, your input, output jacks, your switch, your LED, and I'm going to show you how to cut the housing. You know, nice new housing for your amp. Yeah, make sure you don't do that. That's definitely what you don't want. See that? Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to do that in our next video, and hopefully eventually I'll be able to build one where I can put two 9 volts, hook them up in series where I can be running 18 volts. Why is that? Well, it should sound cleaner because it shouldn't clip. You know, once it gets around 4 volts it's going to start to clip. Anyway, sorry it took so long for part 3, but this is where I am. Comment me if there's anything that you have questions on, anything. I should be able to take care of them. If there's anything you want me to do, solder, show you how to solder on these ceramic capacitors, show you my polypropylenes, whatever, leave me a comment and I will make it. I'll do it for you. Show you more on soldering tips, say you can't get your solder to stick, whatever. Let me know. I'll help you out. And this is Devin, so see you next time on YouTube for our part 4 on the Cmoy Pocket Amplifier, following tangentsoft.net.